Hi everyone, and welcome to our new Houzz webinar, looking at the highlights from Maison Objet. I'm Kate Burt, and I'm part of the UK editorial team here at Houzz. Today, we'll be sharing highlights from this year's Maison Objet show. The biannual event, normally held in Paris, France, was replaced this year by a series of online showroom events and seminars spread over 8 weeks in February and March. Houzz Editorial checked in to scope out the most notable product highlights and trends coming to our homes, indoors and out. As you might expect, the impact of the pandemic was present in all panel discussions, and key topics included increased environmental awareness, the issue of sustainable development cropped up again and again, the customization of our interiors and an interest in unique pieces, and well-being, whether in our workspaces, in our interiors or our exteriors. Every year, Maison Objet spotlights central themes interpreted through new offerings from brands and expert trend predictions. And this year, work was a huge topic of interest. Although work has been a theme at previous Maison Objet fairs, this year there was the added angle of work entering our homes, due to the pandemic, of course. In his seminar, Well at Work, trend forecaster Vincent Gregoire of the Nelly Rodi agency analysed the new norms in the world of work and how they're impacting people and quality of life. He says, by entering the private sphere, the world of work will leave an enduring mark and prompt a hybrid lifestyle. Vincent picked out several key directions. The first is more connections. Vincent highlights two of the knock-on effects of remote working. A, that it has highlighted how difficult it is to create a perfect bubble at home. He notes that brands are responding by developing solutions for isolating workspaces and reducing ambient noise. And B, that remote work has physically interrupted connections with others. And Vincent says he is in favour of anything that could redraw connections in our new workspaces. His second direction was more well-being. He notes that the pandemic has introduced a lot of stress into our lives, impacting both day-to-day living and our work. Next up, he highlights the need for more comfort and joy, to rid ourselves of any sense of the workplace, wherever that may be, being a hostile environment. Vincent suggests we spoil ourselves with tailored and ergonomic furniture or fun objects. He also urges us to take pleasure in joyful decor, for example by adding a colourful accent or introducing wallpaper. He also notes the importance of relaxation. Lastly, he talks about the importance of having more fluidity in response to having had to feel our way into new workspaces and processes. He says, the pandemic obliged us to change places and to be more flexible, and we ourselves are eager for new workspaces that adapt to our moods. Let's move on to the upcoming furniture trends as seen at the show. In the Premium Design Seminar, trend consultant Elisabeth Leriche highlighted 4 key themes running through furniture design this year. This is always one of the most anticipated events at Maison Objet. The first theme she called Organic Luxury. Elisabeth observed the rise in pieces with rounded forms inspired by nature, from Insiderland's cloud-like curly wool seats to Maumy's Zen clothes pegs shaped like pebbles. In contrast, the second theme is urban graphic. Drawing on Bauhaus design, the Vienna succession, and 20th century modernist architecture, this trend showcases clean, rectilinear forms and graphic effects. Here you can see products from Can Design, Trecu, and Red Edition that illustrate the theme perfectly. A third trend is rooted in a revival of a 1970s aesthetic, bringing together furniture with op art-esque patterns and colours in both new and vintage pieces. The return of Line Rosset's 1973 Togo sofa, pictured on the right here, illustrates the trend well, and Elisabeth says responds to our current need for comfort and letting go. She adds, "We are currently searching for a lifestyle that is less formal, more relaxed and convivial." Elizabeth's last theme, combining nature and urban life, is simplicity and zen. She says it's about rediscovering expertise and the essence of nature. It's a soft, comfortable, warm, and authentic atmosphere that's somewhere between the city and the country. It's the influence of Scandinavian and Japanese lifestyle, a quest for well-being and a disconnection that wholly fits the zeitgeist. The pale palette of natural materials on this slide, including a tactile Sofa Industries bathroom, hand-woven rattan lamps from Geobagnara, and a red edition sofa, illustrate the idea well. Whether in form or material, this trend draws its inspiration from nature and responds to a need for well-being and a slowing down of our daily rhythms by looking backwards, consuming less, or simply taking our time. Craftsmanship is also favoured over industrial manufacture. It's also about finding unique or limited edition pieces, whether handmade, upcycled, or second-hand. And the appeal has another strand, as highlighted by Charlotte Cadet, co-founder of Seloncy, a French marketplace for vintage pieces, who also spoke at the event. She says, "The first reason for buying on Seloncy is to find a unique object, while also adopting a sustainable approach." Outdoor decor is always a significant strand at Maison Objet. Jayanna Mize is a trend forecaster at Fashion Snoops and analysed the principal themes we'll be seeing across our gardens and terraces over the next couple of years. Essential is the name she gives to the first of these trends. Jay believes one consequence of the pandemic is that we're going to be pushing the reset button and reducing the amount of excess we've been accumulating for years. She says we're stripping down and going back to the basics. Jay's next trend is rebirth. Another powerful outdoor direction, she says, is the desire to reconnect with nature. This will manifest itself in products made from natural materials and where manufacturing methods tend towards the artisanal. She says, "I think that people are very well aware of how we got into this pandemic and that it was because we were abusing the resources that Mother Nature has given us." Working with the environment, she adds, will strengthen both the human and the natural worlds. Jay calls the third trend nourish. She also sees the importance of objects, both in the home and in the garden, that rejuvenate us and invite us to meditate and do whatever is good for the spirit, the body, and the soul. The tactile experience is key, Jay believes, saying it's one of our most innate and nurturing sensations. She highlights soft cushions and strokable materials such as the velvet ones here on the right by Bérengère Leroy. The last of Jay's outdoor trends is liberate. The garden also symbolises liberation after being confined for too long at home, and she highlights a growing interest in objects for this space which express our personalities. Speakers across the seminars also examine more deeply the trend of sustainable production and consumption. At her seminar on the development of sustainable consumption, Patricia Beausoleil from creative agency Pecler's Paris highlighted the meeting point of nature and innovation. She says, "Sustainable creation is part of a process of meaning and value. We want to celebrate the ancestral principles of simplicity in nature. We want to find an artisanal anchor, but we also want innovation in order to have comfort and flexibility." There's an ongoing search for meaning and value in production, which takes in the recurring themes of a need to reconnect with nature, as well as a desire for a better quality of life and the desire to live well and eat better. Equally, we're searching for a rehumanisation of production, Patricia says. Another discussion at the show underlines Patricia's point. Imprinted with the touch of the creator is focused around interviews with Maxime Perrol, a wood sculptor and lathe turner, and Eric Barret, an urban basket maker and botanical sculptor. Sustainability is also about encouraging us to make products last. Patricia says we are creating products to last longer and through different life cycles by making and then repurposing them. Or we make them last through a new understanding of care around the product. Just one of many examples is the Cora Nat End chair by Daryl, pictured here bottom right and featured at the show, which is made from recycled teak and rope. In other words, we are relearning the skills of repairing, recycling and renewing products. Transparency in manufacturing is also a significant part of this approach. In the end, sustainable production leans on innovation in terms of materials and ideas. An interesting example from the show is the pulp vase by Kinta, bottom middle, which is made from discarded water bottles, paper pulp, and discarded Capiz shells. So, how to sum up 2021's first Maison Objet event in just a few simple bullet points? Here goes. It was about the growing inspiration we're drawing from the natural world, our need for comfort and reassurance, an awareness of a more virtuous and sustainable form of consumption, and our irrepressible need for comfort and joy. May these themes help to make 2021 a little brighter. That's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll include all the links to Houzz articles related to Maison Objet and trends in the YouTube description. If you have any questions about Houzz or about this presentation, just email us at the address on the slide, ukprocommunity@houzz.com. Thanks again and see you in our next Houzz webinar.